Hey everyone, Mike here with EbikeSchool.com, and there is a micro electric car in this box, apparently. A few months ago, someone from China reached out to me, and I guess they had seen my electric mini truck videos here on YouTube. They told me they work for a company called Minghong. It's a factory in China that makes micro electric cars, and they had one that they wanted to send to me to uncrate and make a video about it. At first I was thinking, well, my parents told me not to take things from strangers, but then I was thinking they had me an electric micro car. So the short story is, a few months later, a truck showed up here at my family's place, dropped off this massive crate, and now we're gonna unbox it. There's a bit of a longer story. It's kind of interesting how this thing made it here, but I know what you guys really want to see is what's inside of the box, so let's start with that. Real quick first though, someone who is watching this video right now is going to win this electric bike. This is Electric Expedition. It's an awesome e-bike, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video so you see how you could be the one to win this bike. All right, now let's get to the unboxing. All right, let's start pulling some screws out of this. Even if I don't get a car out of this, I'll have 6,000 new screws. All right, we're starting to make some progress here. Oh geez, there are staples all over this thing. All right, I hope this is not an omen of what's to come here. Ah, there's one little flange here. Are you guys curious? I know I am. And another layer. Seems like an onion. Another layer. Oh, it's like the Russian nesting doll of Chinese mini cars. Yeah, this box definitely smells like China. I don't know if you've ever ordered something directly from China. It always has that certain odd smell to it. It's like a plasticizer smell. It definitely smells like that in here. There it is. Sort of. I can sort of see the shape of it here. Wow, that is a short wheelbase. Well, there's definitely a car in there now. I just gotta figure out how to get it out of there. Man, this is Staples City. All right, there's the back of the car. Now I'm guessing they put the car in this frame and then welded the last few posts in, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to drive it off or how I'm supposed to get this out of here. That's probably the next step. These vehicle boxings are always so much more complicated than I think they're gonna be. You'd think it'd just be open the box, drive the car out, but it is not like that at all. Yeah, that's not hazardous at all. The roof of this crate legit has like 3-inch staples just sticking right through it. Woo! A black cloud of dust just came off of that. Whew, don't breathe for a few seconds. Man, I hope I survived this box to be able to test the car. All right, we're getting close, my friends. The car is very close to all this plastic, so I think I gotta be pretty careful here. That's a word that's not normally in my vocabulary. All right, here it comes. Ta-da! Yep, that's a giant panda right there. That's what that is. All right, very China. Well, look at that. That's an electric micro car. There's something bulbous on the hood here. What is this? Oh, I think this is a spare tire. Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's actually a pretty nice aluminum wheel. Wow, look at that. Oh my God, how am I gonna get this out of here? Yeah, well, this is kind of a cute little thing. And look at these massive spotlights up here. Well, look at that. They even sort of move. I guess you could probably tighten those down. Oh yeah, it's a little thumb screw. You can tighten it in your desired angle. Look at that. All right, maybe I can back it off. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna just rip out that motor if these bars are too high. You've done it again, Micah. All right, well first I gotta take off the wires that are tying it to the frame here. There we go. I'm able to snip it. Well, one thing I'm already noticing is there are no brakes up front. I hope there are brakes in the rear. How can you not have any front brakes? Oh yeah, there we go. We got disc brakes in the rear. Oh man, this thing's gonna be a doozy. All right, let's cut this one off too. All right, I have no idea how I'm gonna get this off because I can't even get into the car to drive it off because I can't open the doors. Can I wiggle through there? No, I cannot get in there. I'm gonna have to cut this cage apart, aren't I? I was hoping to avoid that. All right, I gotta go get some more tools. At this point, I had to go borrow an angle grinder from a neighbor, which turned out to be pretty easy since by now I had attracted an audience from around the neighborhood curious about what was going on over here. The first order of business was cutting the top off of the cage, turning it into a convertible, and giving me better access to the car and the bottom of the cage. That also seemed to draw an even larger audience. I had hoped to just drive the car right off of the cage, but as you can see, it was simply up too high and I would have caught the motor and suspension in the bars on the bottom of the cage. I did decide to drive it forward just one bar though, so that I'd have better access to the steel tubes to cut them away from under the car. Bit by bit, I was able to carve away that cage until I finally had the entire thing free. All right, that was a bit more work than I thought it was going to be. We got it started up. It didn't start at first because the battery seems to have been dead. It looks like the circuit breaker, that's the main on-off breaker for the battery, was left on during shipment. So it arrived with an empty battery. Put like a couple minutes of charge into it just to drive it forward off the cage. Now I'm just going to drive it over to my sister and brother-in-law's place so we can charge it up in their driveway, and then I can start having some fun with this thing. My hands are covered in steel soot, so I'm going to use this on the steering wheel so I don't make it too dirty. Ooh, it's actually kind of smooth. It's not all jumpy like I thought it would be. Got a 15-point turn here. All right, see you guys. Okay, so it didn't make it down the street. In fact, it died in the front yard where I was doing the unboxing. So I've got an extension cord here, trash bag for the foam. I'm just gonna charge it up in the driveway here, and I guess the front lawn rather, and then get a few hours of charge in it and we can start playing around with it. Now I'm going to take this out on some public roads. This is technically not a street legal vehicle, and no, you're not really supposed to be doing this, but I'm staying in a neighborhood. These are very small neighborhood roads, but I'm not condoning taking non-street legal vehicles out on public roads, so let's do this. All right, kids are already waving at me. It actually accelerates pretty well though. I don't know how well you can hear me. You can really hear the engine winding up, so I hope it's not overwhelming the mic here. Let's check the handling. Woo! All right, high-speed turn. It's called the Ming Hong. Oh. Yeah, it's on the side there.
Yeah, I see. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Traffic, you can pick it up and go to another direction. It's like 1 gallon for 100 miles.
It's actually electric.
You can drive on the road.
It's technically not street legal. It's like a golf cart, kind of. Yeah. Take care. The brakes are, they're decent. They're not bad. They're definitely bringing me to a stop. Here's a stop sign. Let's see. Oh yeah, those are pretty good actually. All right, let's try and go out on a bigger road here. Stop at the stop sign. When you're driving a non-legal vehicle, you should at least obey traffic law, I think. Stop completely at every stop sign. So the speedo says 48 kilometers an hour. That cannot be right. Let's check the GPS. And GPS says 24 miles an hour. This thing is hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Look at us now dancing now, skin to skin. If you keep this up, then I'll let you in, 'cause you have a way with me like no one else. Yeah, you almost make me fall in love. Yeah, you got me hypnotized under your spell.
All right, the Ming Hong just sat out in the rain for about an hour or so. Pretty heavy rain. So let's open it up and see how it is. Wow, it is actually dry in here. There's not any water. Wow, that's great. Man, that was a hard rain too. And just to double check it, I took the little car out for a spin once the rain picked back up to test that wiper and see how well the car did in slicker conditions, which it seemed to handle just fine. I can even slide if I do hard rear brakes. Woo, I can slide around the turns. Oh man, this thing is hilarious. I'm gonna keep my speed in check. I don't want to hydroplane here. Alright, so I'm staying dry in here. It is getting a bit foggy though. Definitely needs a defroster for days like this. Now that I know it actually works, let's take a look at how this thing is built. All right, so this is the Ming Hong. It's a short little car. I guessed that it was a bit longer than it was, though my sister Made sure to keep me accurate there. 7.9?
7.9.
Oh, yeah, so that's not quite 10.
No.
It comes with, I guess that's their logo, the panda. It's a little China for me. That panda might have to go. But this is basically what I think is the S1 from Minghong, or maybe the S1 Pro. This one, I have no idea what it would actually cost if you wanted to buy it and outfit it with the specs that I have here. Let me bring you inside here. The front seat is basically, I think, set up for one person, though it seems wide enough that you could fit 2 people on it. In the rear here, if you fold the front seat forward, you've got seating for 2. Theoretically, you could fit as many people as their hips would fit. I bet you could get 3 kids on the back there pretty easily, and you could probably get a couple adults on the front too. Coming into the cockpit here, I have no idea what the steering wheel says. Maybe if someone reads Mandarin, they can let me know. There's actually a Bluetooth player over here. It seems to have a radio function as well, though I can't get that to work. But the Bluetooth actually works. I've connected it to my phone, and I can actually play music from it. And this is the gear shifter. If we turn the car on, you can see it's got the voltage, the speed, and then it clicks back and forth to the odometer, which for some reason seems to reset each time, so I guess that's more of a trip meter. We do have a backup camera as well, though to be honest, there's so much glass in this car that you can just look around everywhere and there's basically no blind spots. Up top, we've got a sunroof here, which actually works pretty well. It's just like in my mini truck, and I was driving this around earlier, and you really get some air blasting through there. Though you've got a couple fans here too, if you want to get even more air, or while you're parked, you can still get some nice air flowing. I was kind of hoping it'd have electric windows, but I guess we can go old school. They don't go all the way down though. I guess the glass is so tall that there's not enough room in the door here, so they go down to about here at the lowest point. When you turn the wiper on, it only covers a sort of maybe half to even a third of the windshield there. It's not super big. There is a window washer option here. I can hear the motor in there, and there's a little hose. Another nice thing about the windshield wiper here is that, unlike in my mini truck where when you turn it off, it just stops wherever it was, it'll actually here sort of finish the cycle just like in a real car. So if I stop it when it's at the top here, it finishes its cycle, which is kind of nice and unlike a lot of the mini cars that just have these sort of on-off switches. Now the weird thing about the pedals here is that they're off to the right side. This is basically a center drive car, you can see, but the pedals are so far on the right side that you really have to sit on the right side of the seat to make it work. And as you can see, there's a rear view mirror, but it's also on the right side. So I think the car is kind of half center drive, half right side drive, which is a bit odd. Now I'll show you what the battery looks like down here. You gotta unhook the 2 clasps on the bench here, and then the whole bench comes up. And there's the battery in there. So this plugs right into your charger. And this is the main breaker, so you can turn off the battery if you needed to. And here are the specs on the battery itself. I can't actually tell if this is lithium iron phosphate or lithium ion. They told me it was going to be lithium ion, but I'm thinking this is actually lithium iron phosphate, and that's what the battery charger says as well. The whole back seat folds down as well. And this is really nice because if you're only using it by yourself and you want more sort of storage space, you've got a whole area here you can stack up with boxes or whatever. And there's a little bit of space back there behind the seat as well. Now there's something that's a little kind of freaking me out about the design here. If you come back here, the only thing holding this bench down from flipping up is this one little red handled clamp here. When you lift that up, now the whole bench can flip forward. And at first I thought, well, that doesn't seem very safe. You know, in a crash, the whole thing can flip forward. But you're not seat belted in anyways, so you're not going to be in that seat anymore in a crash. And I accidentally broke the seat off of the hinges. All right, well, apparently those tiny little screws that they put in this thing are not super strong. Oh man, glad I got that on video though. All right, so it looks like the little wood screws came right out of the bottom of the bench there when I flipped it forward. So let me try not to rip this hinge off while I show you the controller. Then I'm gonna have to fix that hinge over there. Here's the controller. It's actually pretty clean and neat under here. It's a lot nicer than my mini truck in terms of the wiring. They've done a better job sort of tucking all up under neatly. The wires are protected in those wire sheaths. I know it looks like a rat's nest, but as far as electric microcars go, this is not bad. All right, let me try and put this bench back up without damaging it anymore. Minghong, you're losing points on that hinge over there. So here's the hood release. Now when you lift the hood up, There's not a lot in here. Basically, it's pretty empty. You can see the tie rod down there connecting the two front wheels. There's rack and pinion steering. Here's your horn. Here's your brake reservoir for the hydraulic brakes. Here's the window washer fluids. I gotta fill that up, get some fluid in there. Having more storage up here would probably be nice. They even put in these nice little like pans here. It's just sheet metal welded straight onto the frame to give you something there that I think you could put some sort of storage cargo thing. So I'll have to figure something out for that. Kind of like this cute Ming Hong logo. That'll probably leave. I don't know about the hand on the side. All right, now let's talk about Ming Hong and how the heck I got this car. Like I mentioned in the beginning, they reached out to me and they told me that they've got this car they want to send to me. So I did a little bit of research. I'm not just gonna accept any crazy wooden crate from a stranger on the internet. And Ming Hong is in fact a real factory. I looked them up. They've got a number of interesting little cars, a bunch of tricycle type things, tuk-tuks, as well as some other sort of car-like things like this. Now they reached out to me and they were like, yeah, we've got this car, we want to send it to you. And it seemed a bit strange, so I dug in a little bit more. And from what I was able to gather from the factory, this is a car that someone in California bought. This gentleman that designed it, he spec'd all the components, he bought it, they sent it out to him, and then unfortunately he passed away before it arrived. So when it got to California, his widow was not interested in receiving the car, which, I mean, I get. And so they were trying to figure out what to do with it. And I guess they found me, my videos on my micro truck and my electric mini car videos. I guess that I've somehow become sort of like the guru of weird Chinese micro cars. So they found me and they were like, we should send a car to that guy. And so long story short, that big truck wound up here in my family's neighbor's driveway, dropping off this thing. And now we get to enjoy the best of what a Chinese electric car can be in the US. It's a bit of a sad story that it didn't get to go to its original owner, but I hope that we can make good use of this thing and actually have some fun with it and let this car live the existence that it was hoping to when it was built. And part of letting this little runabout live its best life was giving it a more American makeover. I wish I could say I did all this work myself, but that'd be a lie. In fact, my sister helped me with most of it. I have no eye for aesthetic, nor have I ever worked with vinyl wraps, but she has all of that and more. From working in design for department stores to running her own furniture refinishing company, which you guys should all follow on Instagram, she knows what she's doing when it comes to making stuff look good. She showed me how to vinyl wrap, and between some nice new wrap and some knifeless tape to give it some good sharp edges, we put a new face on this thing.
Like somewhere in the Wagner manual, there's got to be the never test the temperature with your hand warning.
That's hot.
And bubbling skin.
We also had to de-pandify it. Not that the panda wasn't cute, but it just didn't match the new aesthetic I was going for. Oh, that sad panda. Wow, look at that. Nice. And now may I present to you the new and improved Ming Hong. Also, I gotta give props to my brother-in-law for getting many of these awesome shots, and my sister for driving. And speaking of family, the Ming Hong was finally cool enough now to start taking them out in it. I started with my sister, who decided to test the off-road ability of the suspension.
Should I do it?
Go for it, why not? Then my nephews got their turn taking a ride. Are you guys ready?
Don't see you guys ever again. Good luck. I love you both.
Such confidence.
Like a ride at Legoland.
Let's roll.
Want to roll out the window?
Yeah. I like this. Yeah. Is this street legal?
Well, it's not technically street legal. I wouldn't take it on a big road, let's put it that way.
Oh.
But just in the neighborhood, I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem.
Well, what if they do have a problem?
Well then, we've got a problem. We're about to get straight.
Dang!
Oh yeah, we're
With
rolling.
the wind in your face.
Well, you gotta go downwind.
Looks like fun.
This thing is awesome, yeah, you should give it a try.
Would I fit in it?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? You're being nice.
Sharp turn. Just for fun, when their parents weren't around, I gave them a chance to drive it while also cementing my status as the fun uncle. You ever driven before?
No.
Though for any range officers out there, I was working the pedals while they merely had directional control of this beast.
No, you kind of run off the road there. Farther, right, turn it. You can keep turning it.
Oh.
There you go. Straighten it out. There you go.
Again?
So when you steer, you want to try to make smooth move. Right, a little more. No, that's left to the right.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think this looks so much better. Those racing stripes look awesome. They surely add a good 3 or 4 miles per hour to the top speed. And that Panda, I'm sorry, Ming Hong, but the Panda had to go. I really want to do like a blue flame job or something here. I didn't have quite enough time for that, nor do I think my skills are quite there. But at some point, maybe we'll add a blue flame job, because I think that would just complete it, or maybe like a racing number here would be kind of fun. It's amazing how much the car kind of changes from that like cutesy cartoon car to obviously a very sporty muscle car with a couple of racing stripes. Now, a few notes on the car that I've already noticed. Now, the acceleration is actually really smooth. So props to Ming Hong on that, because it actually feels very nice off the line and it's very smooth and controllable. Now, I will say a few annoying things. For one, the doors, when you close them, if you don't close it hard enough, it doesn't latch all the way. So if you just kind of, okay, that one actually latched. Hold on. All right, so now like I didn't really close it that hard, and it's kind of like half closed. It's locked, but it's not pressed all the way up there. You got to give it a little harder. And now it's actually locked, so that's a little bit annoying. Got to make sure you really close it, otherwise you might get some water coming in there when it rains. Another thing is that the door handles on the inside, the latch is really far back, so you got to actually like reach behind you to open the door latch. I guess that's because they've got these long doors. It's a coupe, and you gotta have it long enough that you can get into the back seat, but it's a bit annoying that they don't have a latch up in the front here somewhere like you would have on the inside of a normal door. I will say the charger that they included is super nice. It is way nicer than any charger I've gotten with any other electric vehicle so far. Now, I don't really test electric cars or real electric trucks, so I'm comparing this to e-bikes and microcars and that sort of thing. But it's still the nicest charger I've gotten. This one is just a really high power, really well designed, rugged charger. Props to them on that. Now, an important topic to consider here with these microcars is, are they safe? Now, obviously, when you compare this thing to, a real car, you put it next to a truck or something, it looks tiny, right? It looks like it could get crushed like a can. And you know what? It probably could. I would not bet on this in a collision with any other vehicle. Obviously, you should do everything in your power to avoid crashing in one of these things. Not only does it not have seatbelts, but it doesn't have crumple zones. It doesn't have anything that's designed to make this thing safe in a crash. So obviously, this is not a safe vehicle in that sense. A big part of safety when it comes to these types of vehicles, though, is using them in places where they're appropriate. Obviously, you're not going to be taking this onto faster roads. You're not going to be taking this into high traffic environments. This is something that's designed for neighborhood use. And in that sense, it's probably fairly safe, because you compare it to something like a golf cart or a bicycle or something where people would be getting around a local community. At least in this, let's say you did get into a fender bender. If you did have seat belts in a vehicle like this, then hitting something at 10, 15 miles an hour probably wouldn't be the end of the world. Hitting another car at 10 or 15 miles an hour, you're not going to win that fight. But even if you just, ran into a mailbox, ran into a wall, whatever, like, there's still a lot of steel around you that's going to basically keep you inside of this cocoon. Again, it's kind of situational based. I wouldn't bring this on a faster road, and I wouldn't T-bone a truck with it, but using it in the right location, and especially being aware of its vulnerabilities and being an even safer driver because of that, there's an argument to be made that it's not as dangerous as it looks. All right, thanks everybody for watching that video. I hope that was fun and I was able to give you a sense of what it's like to get a direct from China car. It's not all fun and games, but there's a lot here to like, even if there is some attention to detail that could have been a bit nicer. Before we go though, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there is going to be one viewer watching this video right now that is going to win a free e-bike. How's this going to work? Well, all you have to do is go to EbikeSchool.com/ebikesforgood. I'll put the website down here at the bottom, and you can enter there. The goal of this giveaway is to help someone who is down on their luck or who otherwise really needs an e-bike to improve their life but can't afford one. So maybe you've been laid off, you don't have a way to get to work, you don't have a way to get groceries, that sort of thing, and an e-bike would really help you. Make sure you go to that URL down below and fill out the form, because I would love to get you a free e-bike. The e-bike that I'm giving away this video is the Electric Expedition. So a big thank you to Electric e-bikes that they were generous enough to support me with this giveaway. This is an awesome e-bike. I love the Electric Expedition. It is a super cool ride. I have the 2-battery version. I think that's the one that you should get because it just offers so much range. But even the single battery version, which starts at I think like 1300, is awesome by itself. Then consider it's a class 3 e-bike, so it goes up to 28 miles an hour. It's got throttle control as well. It is super accessorizable. You can do all sorts of different kid carriers on back, adult carriers. They've got that second person seat, luggage carriers, cargo boxes, front racks, basically anything you want you can fit onto this e-bike. It is a super adaptable frame, and it is just a really convenient utility style bike. So whether it's getting around town, getting groceries, picking up your kids at daycare, pretty much anything, you can do it on this one. So I'm excited to get this e-bike out to somebody. Make sure you head to that URL below, fill out the form, and it could be you. Last but not least, before we go, it is time to announce the giveaway of the free book from my last video. And the randomly selected commenter is
Kyle Priest.
So congratulations, just let me know which one of my books you'd like. You can choose from DIY Lithium Batteries, DIY Solar Power, the Ultimate Do-It-Yourself e-bike guide, or my latest book, the Electric Bike Manifesto. And if you want to win one of my books at the end of my next video, all you gotta do is put a comment down below. You can say anything you'd like, and hopefully you'll be the randomly selected commenter. Anybody can enter, there's no limits, it can be anywhere in the world. And if you don't want to wait that long to hopefully win a copy of one of my books for free, you can always find my books on Amazon. All right, thanks for watching everybody. I'll see you here next time.